Hello, and welcome to the 12th post-production podcast. Tonight we've got a very special episode.
What we got is
We've got a Knock at the Cabin special. We're going to go in depth talking about the new Shyamalan thriller, Knock at the Cabin.
yes. Oh, I love that film.
On my right I have Steven Seagal from films such as Under Siege.
Yeah, Under Sage. Me when I make stuff in.
Anyway, and we've got a technical T behind the camera.
We turn that thing around.
Please say that thing.
No, I got blurred out last time.
Every single time. It was like blurred out. They were you gotta turn that thing around.
You made me clink.
Okay.
It won't be the same without it.
Sláinte.
It's a launch.
Glass in my eyes, man. Flying against the wall.
Anyway, so this is our third episode in the Tar Bar Ballymoney, Danny Gillen's bar. If you're in the area, come get a Guinness. Say Solange.
Yeah.
Take a big sip.
I might come down sometime.
You're barred? No lad.
Yeah, nah, I'll not leave. Is it too early for me to get up and walk away? Or
No,
some
leave right now. It's never too early.
Right, edit me out of this scene here.
Green screen.
It's my voice you can hear. It's like I'm not even in the scene. It's like, where have I gone? Where have I gone? I was just here a minute ago.
Anyway, did I mention by the way, we're not able to promote this podcast on Google Ads because of the location.
Oh yeah.
Because of the bar.
Yeah, apparently Google Ads was just like, you're promoting alcoholism, and I was just like, what?
And it was building up the Nazi war camp.
I was like, it's actually a historical landmark in the town, and I'm just promoting.
And then they just
history.
started throwing money at us.
Well, to be fair, I actually don't know if it's because of what we were saying, promoting the bar, or if it's because we were making fun of Coors Light and like clanging and all sorts.
Well, that was the first one, so you had the second one.
I'll see what they say. Well, we were probably clanging Coors Light in the second.
Plus the things I was saying with the whale and Avatar, what I wanted to do with it, it's probably like demonetized.
David Cameron, director of
David
Avatar.
Cameron, like about politics again.
Oh.
Yeah. Oh, it's an M. Night film. Here's a twist.
These were literally plugged in since 6 o'clock this morning. These things are broken. They're on the way
Duracell.
up. Well, actually, there must be something wrong with it if it keeps doing that. Sorry, because technical T's on it.
Must have been an earthquake. In here too. The technician is here.
So,
Thomas Ferguson. Look him up on Facebook.
did you catch the game last night?
Nah. Why are you talking to me, wise guy?
The Red Sox, they won.
Go
It's
Chris.
so fudgy, so it was.
Wait.
Oh,
Oh god. Yeah, I looked right into the room.
seizure.
Where's not going to hurt? Like, what, that's not right.
So there's two holes on one end, and if you line them up with the two prongs, it'll just slide right in.
I don't think there's prawns on the camera gear. The prawns are in the ocean. Prawn cocktail over here.
Prong cock, yeah.
Cheese and onion over here.
Well, I
Walkers.
put myself in the bar, he's like hanging out the back.
That's not good, man.
It's a tower bar, anything goes.
Yeah, drill.
I plugged that one in.
Clink to the lens. Oh.
You see it, yeah, it looks so fucked, but it'll do.
Yeah, sparks flying everywhere.
But anyway, so I was saying we've been censored. Ben Shapiro.
Oh. That sounds oddly familiar.
I did actually have to censor quite a lot in the last two.
Why? Well, what do we say that needs to be censored?
You kept
Cut back to the last one. Beep, 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 beep.
Anyway, as we said in last week's podcast, we were going to see Knock at the Cabin. We did.
Oh.
And here we are talking about it.
Here we are. I think Oh wait, do you want to get into the next one?
So let's start off with your ratings of the film.
Out of 10?
Yeah, so we'll do ratings and then we'll go into like plot and stuff like that there, and do different ratings for like different things in the movie.
I will go out of 10. We'll do out of 10.
Okay, I give it 10 out of 10 Dave Bautista's. I actually thought it was really good. So I don't want to go lower just for the sake of it. It was really good.
And how many Dave Bautista's out of 10?
How many Dave Bautista's?
How many little Asian scared children?
See, I don't want to just be like, 10 out of 10, but I'm trying to think, is there anything I can really think of, like a fault? I don't really know any.
I'll go with 9 out of 10 thigh gaps.
9 out of 10 gay couples.
I'll give it 10 homophobic Rupert Grint out of 10. Harry Potter runs his walk about Hogwarts bottling.
I'll give it 10 demonetized Google accounts out of 10.
We're all about team-ups from what's her name, the creator.
No, David Cameron. Mate.
David Cameron was behind that, I could tell.
So no, we went to see it. We went to see it on Saturday. Yes.
Yeah,
Saturday night. And
still doing well in the fevers as well.
It was, yeah.
We were in a VIP showing at the movie house Korean, and it was still pretty packed out, which is quite surprising for a movie that
16 days after it came out.
16 days after it came out, for a movie that's not a huge niche film. Usually thriller movies do quite well, but like for an M Night film that's been released in cinemas, sometimes you can get films that are very audiences want to go to it, and sometimes you'll get ones where audiences don't want to go to it. If it's not like a triple Marvel action movie, bonanza, finale.
I mean, that's what happened to his last film, Old.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like Old was like that.
I seen it its first week, and me and Alex were the only two people in the cinema that seen it. There was no one else there, and that was in its first week. Now, to be fair, that was closer to like, the time of like COVID and stuff. But even then, like nobody else. That was pretty bad.
And it gained popularity in the same way, or do you think?
No,
or you only seen it once?
From what I've heard, Knock at the Cabin's been doing very well compared to.
I think that's also his premise of movies. When you hear the title Old, and when you hear the title, it's like usually videos. Like if you hear the title, like Knock at the Cabin, that's what entices people in because you're bound to be some sort of like thriller or action. Whereas the title Old and the premise of it, it has to be people who really want to see that premise of a story.
Yeah.
Whereas Knock at the Cabin's more open to like more viewers. Like if you found like Knock at the Cabin, if you remember the Cabin in the Woods, like it's very like you just have that sort of similarities.
Yeah.
People assume
I like a longer title for like a film. You know, something that's actually creative and not just a word slapped on it. Because like for the script I'm making, I'm trying to think of like a really good title for it. It's not just like
Benjamin Button Baby Man.
That's pretty good. I'm gonna write that down.
But like, I mean, Instinctive that's one word.
I didn't choose that name though. If it was me, it would have been Cottonhead and Nitty Muggins. You know?
It would have been what's the word? Dystopia modern technology rising or something.
It would have been a Silly Boys podcast.
Just quick side note, by the way. Me.
Yes, please.
Quick side note. Instinctive, near like 20k views.
20k views.
Get
just
down
there
and give it a watch if you haven't seen it.
There's a link right there. Click on the screen. Click right there.
Just grab this.
A hand comes out.
And then you should have commented what your favourite part is. Maybe the director of it.
Yeah. We comment your favourite character from the film. Whether it be the Scottish janitor girls or the robots.
Shrek.
That's a wrong film, you
So you actually have this. See when I get that.
Red wire to blue wire.
What the fuck was that?
So the thing's not going in.
Averaging.
Let me take a look.
There we go. No, it's not going to fucking. Oh, there we go. As long as click.
Hello. Pay the turtle.
Oh my god, that's actually a heroin.
Don't pay the turtle.
I was expert though. The way I got it Finnegan right in between. The line between life and death that camera was.
Man, I heard it
Perfectly
pulsing.
balanced as all things should be.
Balance.
No.
Look
Look at me, the gemstones.
But yeah, what was I going to say there a few minutes ago? Yeah, that's one thing that's, when you say about old and like the concept of the film, that's kind of the opposite for me. The trailer for Old had me much more excited than the trailer for Knock at the Cabin.
Yeah.
But the final movies with the other way around, Knock at the Cabin, I enjoyed a lot more than Old. And I liked Old. A lot of people didn't like it. I really did.
I don't think it's that memorable. Old. I watched it with you.
Oh, we did watch it. Oh my god.
But
That's how unmemorable it was.
yeah, it just didn't seem like his best work to me. Like the trailer, obviously, looked great, but just watching Knock at the Cabin, I was pretty blown away from that. I love everything stylistically about it, like how he approached it and the shots at the very beginning. I was like, I kind of knew I was really gonna like it.
Yeah.
It's very odd that like a film is like really nice to me.
Also, I don't know, I haven't seen Old yet, but a fun bit of trivia. So if you notice it, so Old takes place the entire time at the beach. This new film all takes place at a cabin. You know, I find that coincidental that his last two films have basically been fully set in two areas for, I would say, for about 90% of the movie, where it's set in one location.
It's like a budget thing, is it not? Like,
It can be a budget thing.
but he had like a Universal deal.
I think it's almost like a stylistic thing for both movies, though. He doesn't really want
He's done it for his past three
but
movies.
he makes so much out of it.
Yeah.
If you think about it, it's like he got so much out of one beach, the surrounding area.
Yeah.
He got so much out of one cabin and like a bad forest.
The cabin seems harder.
He's been doing that for a while actually. Because think about it. So he had like the whole like, when he sort of went downhill, he had like the Avatar and the After, that type of
Yeah.
shit. And before that, you had the Happening, and it's all over the place. But when he started making like a sort of like comeback, The Visit's pretty much all set in the grandparents' house. Split's pretty much all set at the zoo. Glass is pretty much all set in the insane asylum. Old beach cabin. From
The Signs is in like a house mostly.
Signs, yeah. I mean, they go into the village and stuff like that, but the majority of it's in the house.
Yeah.
I think there's a stylistic thing to the idea of like keeping it in one area that makes the story almost feel more rich. It's the same thing as well with the idea of he uses TVs to tell stories and news anchors to tell stories.
Yeah.
That's very true, yeah.
And Signs, it was used to basically say about the aliens, and this one it was used to show the wrath of God.
It's like a cheat code way of informing the audience, because the people involved and the characters don't know anything about what's usually happening outside the walls. So how can they be informed, and how can the audience get to knowing what's happening here? By news coming in, and it's like kind of a good cheat code. You don't really notice it being a cheat code either.
But I think that's because you and me were talking about that. There was one point in the cinema, someone went out into the hallway, so like light came in, and I was seeing my watch, and there was like 20 minutes of the film left, and I thought the whole thing being set in a cabin, I was going to be like, this might get old pretty quick if this isn't good.
I felt that too.
I seen my watch when the light came in, I was like, there's only 15-20 minutes left. This is flowing by. Like, this feels like there still should be another hour, like, oh, the film's too short. Just like, I was enjoying it that much, it was flying by.
Yeah.
But I think that might be why I like Knock at the Cabin so much. It's very similar to Signs. I mean, think about it. It's for starters, they both share like a very religious theme. Signs has the same thing. It's like a very religious theme behind it. You have like the majority of it takes place in one house, and it's all about one family, what they're going through, and anything that you see is stuff that they're seeing as well. It's not like the cabin cut to the other side of the world and was just like, oh, here's like a tsunami. It was like, you only seen that because they seen it on the TV.
So very true.
Everything's about what that family went through. It's very similar to Signs in that regard.
And it's never like a usual family. It's always like, what was it? Knock at the Cabin was like an adopted daughter, and then Signs was a dad and his brother.
Yeah.
Raising the two kids from the mum that died.
So it's always like
it's always like something that's like not regular. So it makes it interesting. The characters, like, you're immediately interesting. It's not usual.
One aspect I thought was actually very interesting as well is if you think about it this way, the one of the main differences between the films is science is an antagonist. Not that the cabin doesn't really have an antagonist. If you think about all the characters in the film, is there really an antagonist throughout? Some people could say Dave Bautista's character, but you can't really justify that in the idea he's not actually trying to kill them.
Yeah, he wanted to help. That was his whole motive.
What I'll do, by the way, is I'll put like a spoiler warning at the start of this. So
Yeah, that's what I'm doing right now. That's what I'm doing right now.
Yeah,
So
I was trying not to get into specifics anyway, but
that's
yeah.
what I'm doing right now.
Yeah.
So like, we'll have like a spoiler warning before like a certain part, but then we'll go into the actual story plot parts.
Yeah.
We're just kind of generalising the film. Some parts may be spoiled anyway, as we talk about certain story aspects, like the idea of the cabin. It being mostly set at it.
You see that in the
if someone
trailer.
wants to see it,
like spoilers, but we'll actually give you like a proper
breakdown first, and then we'll go in the after spoilers and the after plot. What's the sense? I found it actually really fun. There was an antagonist. I think a lot of movies nowadays, especially thriller movies, you kind of have to have an antagonist who sort of makes everyone scared and makes you really have the antithesis of the movie's plot. Whereas this one, it was you have four strangers who have basically shown visions of God, like for what you're meant to see at the start of the film, and then they're just trying to do what they believe is right, and the other family is trying to believe what they believe is right.
Yeah.
And it sort of believes on common logic of, how far would you go to support it for them to support their visions?
Yeah.
But also as you go throughout the movie, you basically realise these are more than visions, these actually affect people's lives as they go throughout. So it's like, I thought it was really good how there wasn't anything, because there could have been many points where they just went, Dave Bautista, get an axe, start smacking them. But they didn't really do that, and it was actually really cool, because even like the weapons that they had, when you see at the start of the movie, you see them come with those weapons, you're just like, they're going to break into the house and like try to slaughter them at the start.
Yeah.
They're not trying to do that, like...
That's to defend themselves almost.
Yeah, but it's also... That's just probably spoiler warning for this wee part. This is the first of this. As I say, it's the weapons that they were shown in their visions that were meant to be used by them for their own, I don't know what's actually been said there, but, because you have to be careful as what the words you use, especially on YouTube, so it's almost like executioner weapons, but they're not actually the executioner, it's for them, it's for themselves, which I thought was really smart throughout. And also the weapon designs were they looked makeshift. They looked as if like the woman had a chain that just had a mallet at the end, I think, or like a thing. And it's like, that is clear that she's just cobbled together. But which I was really impressed by.
What I think is interesting is, and spoilers for this, and it's just like a big idea I had.
We'll just put the banner in now.
Spoilers for all this.
We had a mini breakdown of some aspects we liked.
This will be quick, this coverage, but anyway, it's the fact that the group of people that come to visit this cabin all have visions about how things will end out. Do they know that how they what their fate is? Like, do they know it's all going to come to an end? Because they didn't exactly paint it as if they knew they were going to win or lose.
Do you mean like, so they thought they were... I think so, because do you remember whenever they were trying to they were lining up, Rupert Grint was already dead at this point, and then they were like, are you going to sacrifice someone? And the dads were like, no. And then your girl in the black shirt comes out, she's like, I don't want to pressure you guys, but like, I'm up next and I have a son, like, please. So I think they all know the order they're going to die, and the fact, but do you mean like, do they know for sure that they are going to die, that they're...
So I guess like they went all the way there to be sacrifices, knowing that they're going to die, and already knowing the visions in that the dads are not going to let them live.
Well, like, you have to remember as well, is like, they're having these visions, but what they're hearing is like their loved ones and everyone dying and screaming, and it's said that they got that for maybe like weeks on end. So to a point, it could actually be quite relieving for them, knowing that they're sacrificing themselves for that, rather than having these constant nightmarish like daydreams or visions that they're having. Because I I think one of the girls, I don't know whether it is the white lady or the black lady, who says that all she hears when she goes to sleep is screaming. But there's a line one of them says where they say, all I can hear is screaming. And if you think about that, it's like if you went to sleep thinking every night you're having these visions, would it not be better going and seeing this? This thing would play out? Because at that point you might like want us to be like Fortnite bamboozled.
I think
I'm not using the actual words, but
Yeah.
using that instead.
They all act on their visions though.
there is not because I was about to say, to answer your question, I think what the case probably is they know what will happen. They're like, okay, we're all going to die in this order unless we can convince them otherwise. So they probably know that's probably the case. They probably don't know for sure that they're going to die. That's why they're like so desperate, like, please make a decision. But they at least know what will happen to them if they don't make a decision. But is there not a line at the very end after all four of them are dead and the two dads are like talking to each other in the living room, and he's trying to, Eric, who's the like shorter one, he's trying to convince the other one, no, like, kill me, I'm ready to like go, basically.
Yeah, he started believing.
Did he not say to him that I believe that those four people were the horsemen of the apocalypse and we had to see them die to understand? So he said to him, like, to answer your question, did he not say like we had to see them die in order to understand properly? I think that's like what they
sort of religious in the way that, you know, with Jesus dying, everyone had to see his sacrifice to really believe in Christianity. Which is like the most absurd stuff, and like the furthest it could have gone, but that's what it took. And that's what it took for the two dads to finally succumb to.
They had to see, like, everything.
They had to see a lot of sacrifice in order to finally get their head straight.
Like, one I have an interest in the idea of, like, if you go to the idea about the four horsemen, is the order they die in, is first Miles dies, like, if you see the movie, says, obviously we have the spoiler warning already, but you have Rupert Grint's character, who is Redmond, who's Miles. He dies first, and you immediately find out things after he dies about his Miles and his big past. Then you see before the woman dies, I forget her name. I might actually look up the character name.
She's the only one I can't remember because the other lady, that was an old, hers is healing.
Adrienne was the girl, so she was nurturing. You literally see her cooking beforehand.
Yeah. And
she says she's a line cook, but you literally see her helping the kid beforehand and cooking for her before she dies. And then the third one who's healing is, well, she is killed after after healing Eric, but she just dies by getting a gun shot. This kind of suddenly. But what I loved is, obviously you want to have your star man and Dave Bautista be until the end, but the fact that his character was guidance was very fitting for the movie, because throughout the entire thing, I think I mentioned to Warren these afterwards, was if you would notice for the movie, before you even find out that he's guidance, he's the one who's constantly talking to them, he's the one who's constantly trying to tell them, you need to make a choice, and trying to guide them through and telling them this is real. Whereas the others, if you look at when Rupert Grint's character dies, Adrienne, one of them goes in vomits, I'm pretty sure, immediately.
It's Dave. It's Dave Bautista, he does.
He does, yeah.
He vomits, but then the other two start questioning whether they made the right choice.
Yeah.
Whereas Dave's sort of like on track, on vision.
He knows he has.
Because the other two probably care more about the person dying, whereas Dave favours the outcome more.
Yeah,
so
he knows where it leads to, and
so that's a little bit I thought was just like, I find it nice how they just kind of kept going with they really did stick to their concept of the four horsemen. And especially with Dave Bautista's character, I felt that even the others, it's quite obvious through their actions. Dave Bautista is more through his words.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. Their words, the others through their words. Sometimes you can tell they've still very much got that human aspect to them. Whereas much Dave Bautista's character he's a human and he cares about people, you can tell he's really on task with his mission of guidance. And to get through it. Up until the very end, when came to that, it's, like, his death to me was probably like the most grimmest.
Oh yeah.
No, that was rank. Yeah. And the thing with
Do you know where they still recording now?
Reset in there,
Do you know what I was just thinking about there that kind of popped into my head? It's like a wee theory. It's like I've noticed that anytime Shyamalan writes a character that's somewhat more than human, he always grounds them in like a realistic way. And what I mean by that is like, so think like you have like those 4 characters, the 4 horsemen, right? Dave Bautista's guidance. What's his real world job? A school like coach.
Yeah.
You have the other girl that's healing. What's her real time job? A post op nurse. You have Adrian. What's her real job? She's a cook. And then Rupert Grint, I think he
was a
truck driver.
factory worker.
Oh.
But after he had assaulted Andrew in the bar, Andrew being one of the gay dads.
But he represents malice, and he spent quite a bit of his life as a prisoner.
Yeah.
And if you look at like Unbreakable, David Dunn, who's like this like superhero, what's his actual job that he picks? Security. So anytime he writes a character that's more than human, they always pick whatever the real world equivalent to like that job would be. Like if David Dunn protects people, what would he do? He'd be a security guard. If Dave Bautista's meant to guide people, what would he do? He'd be a school coach. Like it's like he always picks jobs for the characters that would be like what they would do if they were like wanting to like basically what they're meant to do, sort of thing.
Yeah.
Or even in Signs, like with Mel Gibson being a priest, like how important like faith ended up being to him in that film. Like he had to be basically a priest to like be able to like, do you know
thrive.
what I mean?
Yeah.
He had to refine himself in that movie, and through like his own beliefs, he was able to find himself again after a tragedy.
Yeah, which he probably couldn't have done if he wasn't, a priest maybe.
Yeah. Because throughout the entire thing, he tells people, don't call me father. Not that we're going to Signs, but like, hey, don't call me father, because he used to be a priest.
Yeah.
And then like by the end of the movie, it's like, you can tell it to an extent. He'd sort of lost his faith in humanity to an extent throughout the movie, or like, lost his faith in other people, but by the end of the movie, through like his own family bond, etc., you could tell that he was just like himself as fully able as he could be again after the death of his wife.
Yeah.
Obviously, you don't see what happens after the movie, but you're kind of led to believe that like this family's they're stronger bonded than they were at the start of the movie.
Yeah.
Through their faith and their togetherness.
Yeah. There's also the theme in M. Night films where the characters have to go through very high stressful situations in order to have like realizations and things at the end of Knock at the Cabin. Spoilers. There's the part where they're in the living room, the couple.
Yeah.
And at the peak of stress and the world comes in and they have the realization. The priest at the end of Signs overcomes the monster due to stress and fear. When it's all overcome, they can come back and they realize that what they had was already important.
Yeah.
And they appreciate things in a new light almost afterwards.
I think also
Very human.
a good character analysis is the character of Andrew, one of the gay dads, being Andrew and Eric, is the idea of Andrew got beat up and assaulted in the bar by Rupert Grint's character Redmond, who had a homophobic attack on him because he didn't like what he was saying to obviously his partner Eric. Now, throughout the film, you find out that he does boxing and basically brings up his will quite a lot. And you can tell through the movie that it really takes so much for him to believe that he is wrong and that it's not a coincidence, to your point that it gets to after 3 of the deaths and they notice that planes are falling in the sky.
Yeah.
The first one is the first one's the earthquakes. Was it? Am I right in saying that?
No, the first one, earthquake / tsunami, but
And then the second one was the
plague.
Third one was airplanes falling out of the sky. I thought airplanes happened sooner, but I might be wrong.
No, that's the third one.
And then it takes to that point, and then you remember he says a line because you're like basically says a line along the lines of, I can't remember if it was Andrew, no, if it was Eric saying it to Andrew, or if it was David Bautista's character. I feel it was David Bautista's character, but he turns around, David Bautista's character says basically like when Andrew Andrew's like saying it's all coincidence. He says I've set this up, and David goes, "You know I'm right," and it cuts to Andrew's face because his face is so panicked because deep down
He knows.
he's finally realised that like he's right
Yeah.
in that way. So, and there's not really much like what's the word? There's
Everything in the life used to be.
like there's not really much that he gives away in the movie.
Yeah.
Like he's so stalwart throughout, but then by the end of it, like there's just so much happening, so much happening that his will does break, and he does give in by the very end. That like this has to be what it is.
And the one he loves the most has completely converted,
Yeah.
and he puts all his trust in and will never leave his side. So to do anything other than that in a high intensity situation when the world's come to an end, he kind of has to just, free himself of any feelings of before and just, see things for how they are, how the world's going to be.
Oh, we fine.
Yeah.
Just for customer reference. Just for viewer reference. One of our lights has went off again. We're just going to continue.
I need to get there's clearly something wrong with that charger because
Didn't the lighting looks cool on you?
it just might be a bit dark, but we'll see what happens. We'll work with what we got.
It should be fine-ish.
But what was I was gonna say, yeah, there was another really interesting because the thing I really like about Shyamalan's films is just how much thought you can put into them afterwards.
Very true, yeah.
Different things. But do you know what I was thinking about? Do you remember we spoke about this years ago, back when Glass first came out? We were almost the way the whole concept of that is for thousands of years superheroes have existed. They've just been kept at bay.
Yeah.
And it's been tried to be hidden away. And we were oh, you could maybe go back to so many different people throughout history that were considered weird or abnormal in that universe, and they would be considered superheroes.
Yeah, and why they were covered up and reasons.
You could go back thousands of years in that universe, but that person that's just a fairy tale, but maybe it's not a fairy tale about them. Maybe that was a real person.
Yeah.
They were a superhero. It's the same thing with this movie. I'm thinking I think one of the dads says it where they're oh, maybe this is how it's been. Maybe throughout hundreds and thousands of years, families have been picked at random to make this decision.
Oh.
So it makes you think that does that mean that they're basically hitting that all these maybe awful things that have happened in the past, earthquakes or any of these things, or awful plagues and stuff like that, there were families at those times. It's a really stupid thing to think about, but it's an interesting thing because you're does that mean that I'm trying to think of things, I don't know,
Pompeii blowing up.
Yeah,
for example, could that have been?
Was that another decision tiebreaker?
Yeah, history or something there.
That's a good thought. Yeah.
Because if you think about it, if you go back 100 years each time, there's probably disasters that happen.
That's actually
that's
rough. We're gonna have to you'd have to swap one of them
Yeah, I'll probably swap this one. This one seems to be the best one for swap out.
We're in the dark. Bravo 6.
Try to stay up here, else you switch out like that.
You got a lot of soul, boy.
Like a cat, man. The lights are not like a cat.
This will be a death when he's trying to get
Bad way. Cabbage. That's testicles, mate. Comment below if you got a big sack of testicles.
I love to.
The way Adam did it doesn't work for me. The way I put it like that, it clicks, it doesn't even work. They're
Way off the water, way off the water. Turn that down, lad.
Plug this in.
Plug what?
I know two batteries charging. You can't use it like that.
Where is the other one?
We'll run an ad break too.
Running Adam Brack. Adam, do something crazy.
Oh, this episode is so clapped tonight.
I've got
Technical issues. It's just not
look. No one's even gonna notice.
Is this
You
like,
have to go and watch this.
it's back in the technical errors.
Technical T. I've got a point, and it does not involve that cat toy. Yeah. Well, right. Do you notice that the whole world happens inside of America, and all the characters are American? Well, not the little girl, but like.
You would consider her basically American at that point. Like she's born in China, but like.
Oh yeah, that's what all American characters.
Raised American.
Yeah, it's like obviously it's hidden pretty well, but you wonder if these disasters are happening all over the world, or if it is just one of those.
Well, you would assume so because throughout the movie, I'm pretty sure you were saying. Movie like they were basically like 700 planes from like different airlines that went down worldwide.
Yeah.
And then they said that planes have landed safely in Russia and somewhere else.
Oh yeah, they did.
You've seen
So
those
that's a good way of like cutting through all that, I guess.
Do you remember like there's news reports around the world, but like the plague part of like the thing, it said on the news on it that it specifically targeted England, South Africa, and a part of America.
Yeah, I think it was, yeah.
And at the end, when like everything was going okay, I think it was on like.
It was a UK news report.
Yeah, it was like that Scottish girl. She was like, "We haven't had a death in like 2 days."
Oh,
it was like,
what up? Yeah.
Or 2 hours, not 2 days.
They're all like running at the tsunami. Slicing it. Scottish people, am I right?
I love how Michael makes a fury, by the way, because sometimes it's pumped immediately. Michael's really so.
He was cooking that one up. He was just like, the whole thing happens in America.
I was trying to get used to Scotland so I could set up that.
I like that.
That's real dedication to the comedy to set that much for that punchline.
Oh,
Really bad moves on something like that. What was I going to say? So, what did you think about the general, like, how did you feel about the timeline of the movie from start to finish? Did you think it was fine when they done, because they had flashback sequences, but did you think the movie flowed well from scene to scene, or did you feel like there was stuff that was cut out?
Oh, it's good the way they didn't paint it out from the intro, like the dad's getting there with the daughter and all. It kind of started just with the daughter, that was mysterious. Yeah. This mysterious man.
Like, I always love it when they do that movies where you get to find out more about the characters throughout.
Yeah.
Through them actually having interactions and doing things rather than them actually having a reason to explore the character rather than at the start of movies where it's like
it's so streamlined. It's
if you have a Steven Seagal movie, it's like
he's sitting there in a chair for 10 minutes.
Yeah, there's Vinny. And it's like Vinny's a really bad man, and it's like Vinny's like bad food, and then Steven Seagal appears and he's really fat and it looks like
that's our objective at the very
start.
start.
Completely text paints or like sets up his entire character. And like, it's fine for some movies where they're like for example, like if you have a movie where it's like they basically the narration at the start that was explaining like a family's life or like a story, a character's life up until this point. I find that fine because there's stuff that the character evolves through the movie. But when the character doesn't evolve through the movie and there's nothing else to find out about them and you've already been told everything about them, it just feels so bland. So I'm glad they didn't do that.
There were a few of the flashback scenes that kind of felt like they came out of nowhere, but then it was also like, well, where else do you want to put them? Like,
yeah.
So like, I'm trying to think of one.
The one where they went to the pool, they jumped in the river. They do first drive at the cabin.
Yeah.
That one was a little out of nowhere, but at the same time, it did fit well into the sort of story of like you
had to see.
You got that family feeling from.
You remember they're a family.
Yeah.
And not only that, but that scene also really like importantly set up the difference between the two dads, because throughout the whole film, like it starts to build to a point that it reaches at the end where basically you see the difference in attitudes towards everything between the two of them. Andrew is all like Eric's very like have fun, enjoy things in life can be beautiful. Andrew's very much no, it's awful. Like we should be.
We should enjoy things for ourselves.
Yeah, because I remember they were talking about like she was wanting to go around the forest and like they were joking about bears, and then the other one was like, you can't be joking about that. Like she'll not take it seriously. Yeah. Because that all leads to the thing in the end where Andrew, because I can't remember if it's even said what Eric does for a living. But Andrew, the one that gets assaulted and then he like, trains to be a boxer and buys a gun and all that, he's a human rights lawyer, so he sees the worst parts of humanity. So when, oh my god,
Yeah, he kind of narrows in and focuses on those aspects. Oh, wait, Chungus, it's fine.
that nearly took the camera right off the thing. I
want the dice. Might have written for it.
Shogun. Yeah, but he narrows in on those things, I guess. Like,
lol.
that was a J godsend that I landed like
You just
there.
keep talking on, we're fixing up.
So,
So instinctive.
Wait, no, so you're talking about Andrew and different like characters.
yeah, so the fact that he's a human rights lawyer and he basically sees the worst parts of humanity,
Yeah.
that leads to like, at first at least he's the main, because you start to see throughout the movie that he really doesn't believe Dave Bautista and everyone, but he really doesn't
I nearly
believe,
fell off screen for anything.
he really doesn't believe them, whereas you can start to see throughout the movie Eric's starting to like trust him a wee bit,
Yeah.
or he's starting to like,
He sort of like loses his guard and he goes back. He's like,
starting to-
no, I don't believe you.
he's starting to like think maybe they might be serious. And the actual thing about that that's really interesting as well is because he has a concussion, so
Yeah.
it's almost like, oh, he's starting to believe him, but at the same time he hit his head, so like maybe he's just going like a bit loopy. But then the point was Andrew doesn't like believe them at all, and then when it comes to the end, when they're sort of deciding who's going to die, Andrew wants to die because he says like I don't like he's not a fan of humanity and all that stuff. So it's like he's like, well, just kill me basically. And Eric basically is like, well, no, like basically because he feels the opposite. He's the one that has to go.
Yeah.
Yep.
So it's like it kind of like the flashbacks can be good in that sense because they basically show the difference in attitudes towards life and humanity between the two of them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think that's a good point because the idea as well is also like Michael saying earlier about all like their visions. Like if you think about it, their visions, like how could that really persuade them to do that? But if you think about it, you know,
Yeah.
yes, he had a lot of things going on around him, but Eric only had one vision throughout the movie, and it was enough to make him feel.
They need
Yeah.
to figure out where the lights are so they can just turn them
Very
on.
true. And they didn't share the vision at the end either.
I will go. I will find where this light is.
Technical break.
Technical breakdown.
T and technical N. Technical mic.
This is my breakdown segment. So, y'all seen the news? Syria got against America. Oh my god. Who you got your money on, boy?
Come in. Same as I said. But he didn't tell you what the poem was about, and he's not going to because it's not going on YouTube. But let's get on to the meat potato.
Fuck you. Fuck you.
It is. I can see the PSNI thing on it.
Here, roll the window down.
Yeah. Oh, he's going somewhere else.
yours. Got him.
Alright.
If it comes to that, I'm probably going to kill myself.
That was dreadful.
People have been calling it the Beast of Ballyboogie. You come around that and you're like, guys, you're like civilization.
Yeah.
And we're like, wait.
Now he finds it.
Look, you took M Night a bit too literal. It got dark in here a bit. Adam. You do it faster like this.
We'll sit in one.
Oh no, I'm sad. Oh. He's gonna direct the film.
We'll sit in one.
I'll take his place.
That like under his charge.
Never fill his underpants or shoes.
But yeah, so this is very clapped. Technical issues. I need to figure out what's actually wrong with light charges. But anyway, knock at the cabin. interesting thing that I'm not sure if you know about this. It might actually go to like it might explain partly why the film looks so good. He's keeping up that trend of shooting on millimeter film instead of digital cameras. The entire movie was shot.
Oh,
like,
I thought it was digital.
nope,
It didn't
was shot
look.
on, it was
too
shot
good.
on like millimeter film. So was old. I remember reading old was actually a pain in the ass to film that because they had to get these massive like gas generators down to the beach to power fridges to keep the film from melting on the beach because it was so hot.
Oh,
So like that film was shot, and
Yeah.
old might not be the best thing he's ever made, but it's a beautiful film to look at. But like the pain that he must have went through.
Yeah, filmmaking is like a weird thing because just to have a bit of grain on your picture, you know, you gotta get fringes, you gotta get all this stuff just
Knock
so
at the
people see the
Cabin,
grain.
like, it probably wasn't too difficult to get Knock at the Cabin shot on millimeter film, but
A lot of shade.
a lot of shade, but he still done it. I don't know about Glass and Split. I think they were done like that as well, but I'm not sure.
Yeah.
That's probably a contributing factor as to why it looks so nice.
Oh yeah, and it was quite elusive how they didn't have anything because the house was quite like full of glass. You could see kind of every wall.
Yeah.
So where they set up all this equipment, you know, they probably like went miles out and then walked everyone in or something.
That's always the most mystery of how do you hide things, like how do you hide cameras and mirror shots?
Oh yeah, that's always a cool one.
a
Yeah.
one for me.
Sometimes
Yeah.
they use CGI, and then sometimes they just have clever tricks. That they,
Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
there's like a whole like segment where they're shooting a mirror while the healing lady is healing air,
yeah.
and but yeah, that 7 years looking the entire time. I was looking at it, what have they done here? Where they
Never even thought of that. It could even be like they've shot through a little square window and made it look like a mirror
Yeah.
or something. There's really cool stuff they do in films.
To be honest, I wish I had more time to talk about, but we should do a wee talk about on Knock at the Cabin.
Oh, we should.
Yeah, we'll cover talk today, but also more talk.
More stuff we didn't get onto,
yeah.
but where would you put it on your list of Shyamalan films?
Right. The Sixth Sense is my favourite film of his.
Right.
By far, maybe. And then I'm going to put Knock at the Cabin second. And then
Really? Better than all the other ones?
Yeah, for sure. It was just, it took me in. I was like, yeah, I really like this.
Ooh.
And then it has to be a top three, isn't it? What would my third be? Probably the one with the demented grandparents. What do you call that?
Visit.
Yeah, because that like kind of, you know, correlates to my life a little bit. Subscribe.
You were abducted by old people.
Yeah, you need to meet my grandparents. I'm joking.
It's like I really love Knock at the Cabin. Like it's really really good, but it's not
Yeah.
my top three.
Yours is gonna be like Glass and all that, isn't it?
Oh no, it's above Glass, like, but. Where would I put it? Do you know where I'd probably put it?
Unbroken, isn't it?
Signs is my favourite, and Unbreakable is my second favourite. It might just scrape third.
Yeah. Not even the Sixth Sense in there.
That's what I'm thinking though. 'cause,
See, like, you put the Sixth-
is like
Like, so Signs goes above the Sixth Sense for you. I could not do that.
I know,
Like, Signs is like so like.
I know. It's like a bozo.
It's like a personal favorite though, isn't it? So it's like.
The Sixth Sense is a better film, I'd say. I just for some
Yeah.
reason there's just something about Signs. It just I don't know what
Fair.
it is.
I don't know. Yeah, fair.
Same with Unbreakable, but see, I don't know because I was going to put Sixth Sense third, but then I was like, do I prefer Split to Knock at the Cabin? I don't know.
Yeah, the Split, Glass, and what's the third one? Oh, Unbreakable.
Unbreakable, yeah.
Unbreakable is great. I'm not too fond of the other two, to be honest.
Split's really good as well. Glass is a bit.
It is. It's just.
My opinion of
Yeah.
Glass has went down over the years. I really liked it when I first seen it, and then now I'm sort of like, it's okay.
Yeah. It's just I've never like. I've watched Sixth Sense quite a lot since we watched it.
Yeah.
I just never got my way to watch Glass and stuff.
We should watch it. We still haven't seen Lady in the Water.
Oh, that could
And
maybe
then-
be a tiebreaker.
And then The Village was the one that you may were surprised by because it's obviously got a mixed reputation, but I really like The Village. That's another thing.
Well, it's
like,
not top three, like. but it's
Well,
like,
that's the thing. I can't come out and be like, oh yeah, I like The Village more than Knock at the Cabin because like
yeah.
people watching that be like, what
I-
the f*** never trust this guy again.
Yeah, like the thing that makes this film's really good, or like disguises him as great,
Yeah.
is like the ending. But the village wasn't even that great. It was a cool concept
It's
though,
good,
but the
it's-
ending was just like amazing. And you can't like conceptualize the whole film.
I
just
think
the end.
the village kind of joins up with Old for me, where the concept is an amazing concept. The film just could have been better. I think, but because Old's an amazing concept, it's just something's.
We needed like an Avatar way of water, like 3 hours long.
Oh, that was just a weird film. It was so cool though.
Old or Avatar.
Avatar, like it's not really like anything, is it? You can't compare it.
No, but I mean, it's just
Avatar.
run times.
No.
Like, you need so much to tell like the full story and get the full gravitas of the world that you would want to do.
Oh,
That's just what I mean.
well, it's like every film reviewer
Put it
is
this
doing
way.
Avatar.
You want to go see?
We've already done it.
You
Huh?
want to go see Knock at the Cabin again?
Yeah,
So
any that, yeah.
I want to see it again to like cement my opinion, but for now I'll give it third place, just
Third
under
place.
Signs and Unbreakable. That's where I'm sticking it.
You. And that's an aggressive ending.
That's the guess say on the line.
Yeah, I was about to say what.
Michael's just completely went over like.
Yeah, I was about to say what.
Sorry,
obviously
I wasn't
you've
even
seen less Shyamalan films than me and Michael, but out of the
Oh
ones
yeah,
you have
yeah.
seen, like what?
Which ones have you watched?
So I'd go. Knock at the Cabin's my first.
Yeah, it's a good choice.
Split is my second, and Signs is my third.
Oh, that's where you're wrong. Ugh.
And then I'm maybe
Can't
put
have
After Earth
Signs.
and a fourth.
After Earth. Oh, perfect.
That's the end.
literally,
After Earth 1.
After Earth, and the lights just like nah, mate.
After Earth, then Village, and then
The Happening.
Glass.
Mark Wahlberg.
The Happening. Oh, The Happening. Yeah.
Hey guys, take an interest in
Oh
science.
my God.
What's going on with all the bees out there, guys?
A bunch of boys. Yes.
The Happening.
More like the buzzy bees, and the tigers, and the lions and bears. Oh no. Where's Adam gone? There he is.
Right, let's wrap this up. Well, it's already wrapped up.
Yeah, we'll just wrap this thing up like a fajita on a Taco Tuesday. Penetrate this thing. Oh man, the make.
That was dreadful.
Uh.